We're up here 9,000 feet at the end of April, and it's still the dead of winter here. And this is where I've chosen to spend my life experimenting and trying to see what's going on. One thing that's come to me is that wealth is empowerment. Your ability to empower other people is really, in my book, how wealthy you are. And the best vehicle, the best currency for doing that is cooperation. So the most important thing for somebody to have is the roof over their head. And that's what I've tried to do for myself, and through that I think I've come up with something that I believe is good for everybody else. So this little video is going to tell you all about it, and I appreciate your watching. I'm wide open for suggestions, and I'm wide open for people that would want to join this effort, developing this building system, serving the earth, serving yourself, and the peace of mind of knowing that your time is creating value that will help other people for multi-lifetimes. Concrete building system has been my obsession for the last 36 years. There must be a good reason for me to stay with it so long. And yes, I was even able to get a patent for it in 1998. This precast concrete wall tile is the main component to the system. 24 inches long, 16 inches high, and 2 inches thick. There is embedded styrofoam on the backside to reduce 40% of the volume of the concrete. The embedded fasteners allow connection to the other side, just like this here. The overlap is welded together, so for the first time ever in construction, you have wall faces that don't attach to a frame. They attach to each other and create a finished architectural surface just right off the bat. These embedded couplers are just tack welded to join the sides together, and it's fast and easy and inexpensive. All tiles themselves have substantial strength, but this system provides a stay-in-place form for cast-in-place concrete where you can achieve any strength necessary for any type construction. The forming cost for cast-in-place concrete is usually about 70% of the cost of the job. With this system, that cost is zero to form this concrete. The wall needs no bracing as it's filled with concrete, plenty sturdy just by itself. For aligning, reinforcing, and sealing the wall faces, splines go into the slot all around the perimeter of the wall tile. This is the very first room I built back in 1985. I had been in Utah and was inspired by the sandstone colors of the cliffs and canyons there. I'm not a very good artist, but playing with the dyes and the stains is a fun thing to experiment with. Penetrating acid stain for concrete works very well. You can choose from a flat, semi-gloss, or gloss sealer on it, and you'll maintain a wet look for a long time. The thing I had done so far was just by myself. I was fortunate to make a contact and got invited to build houses in Canada. This is the very first one I built with more help than just me. This is in Roberts Creek, British Columbia, which is a very high earthquake zone, and getting the permits and the seismic rating was really no problem whatsoever. This house was designed by Rob Milstead of RDM Designs, and he led the crew that actually got the construction done. The system is a minimum number of components to have maximum design flexibility. The panels are 24 inches, 12 inches, and 36 inches long, and then there's lintels that are 8 inches high that are 4, 5, and 6 feet long. With these combinations, you can do most anything. This is a simple diagram showing all the sizes of the pieces involved. The inside the window are frame pieces that can be part of the system, and it's up to the designer whether to use these pieces or to just block the frame off at the edge of the panel. The standard doorway is 48 inches wide and 88 inches high, with the frame pieces that reduces it to 44 inches wide and 86 inches high. Any size door or windows can be accommodated, but it's most economical and expedient to stay within standard system sizes. 36-inch window openings will most often come into play on walls that are an odd number of feet long, so the 3 feet helps maintain the symmetry balance of the design of those walls. With walls that are an odd number of feet long, you can use a 36-inch wide window or door to maintain the balanced symmetry of the wall aesthetic. If you like some smaller windows, of course, a 24 by 48 inch opening is possible, which would become a 20 by 44 inch dimensioned window. Here's another view of that very first house. You can see the stainless steel trim around the windows, and using metal around the concrete makes a very nice trim that is, I've never seen anything else like it. Now this was the second house we built. We wanted to have bigger openings just to see if the structural engineering would let the bigger windows still be plenty stiff enough to survive the seismic code, and that was no problem whatsoever. This looked right out on the Georgia Strait, and it was a fun house to work on. This was also a project headed up by Rob Milstead at RDM Designs in Sechelt, British Columbia. The third house was a beach house, and this was yet another design by Rob Milstead, and he really showed his talents here. There will be pictures of these houses under construction towards the end of the video. This is getting a little more fancy with the wall design. Lintel pieces are used instead of regular wall pieces to create a more mosaic effect in the greater wall. Also, one can use 16-inch wide panels, since 3 of those would be 48 inches and still fit the module, or one can use 18-inch wide panels since they would be 36 inches and also fit the module. Sometimes when you need to break up the vertical spacing to keep 2 verticals from being in line, using these other size panels is a good idea. And this is the fourth and final house that I worked on during my 4 years in British Columbia. It's also on a body of water, and everybody was very happy with their houses. They said that they were the coziest houses they've ever been in. The reason is that these houses have radiant floors, and the concrete walls, which are excellent emitters, absorb that heat from the floor over time and become emitters also. So you're not only getting heat from the floor, but the walls also kind of a surround sound of very penetrating, warm, long-wave infrared heat. Back in time and a bit more conservative, this is the second building I ever did, a pottery studio for my sister in Lakewood, Colorado. And this is an example of using all the different size wall tiles in order to maintain symmetry with the 36, 12, and 24-inch tiles. A major point of this system is to use as little concrete as is structurally necessary. Take this plan right here, you could fill the entire wall cavities up with concrete, but that would be excessive. So if you wanted to use the least amount of concrete and then see what that would look like if you were able to just extract that cast in place concrete out of this wall and look at it and compare it to what it would be if all the space was filled with concrete, that minimal concrete would look like this. It's common sense for a mega strong structure to have concrete around the window openings and the doors so they're as solid as a rock. But in between that, you have the option to really fill that space with anything you would want, from sand to gravel to dirt to air ducts to just anything. One could conceivably fill the wall up to the next to last layer with, say, sand, and then the sand would support the bond beam that would support the slab around the top of the wall. If the wall were removed, the resultant column and beam would look like this inside the wall cavity. To take the mystery out of it, this is the actual panel being made. You put 38 pounds of concrete in the mold, just fill the corners, and then bring what I call the waffle down, and it vibrates into the concrete, and those plastic things hold it in place so it doesn't float up. These pieces are pre-prepped, of course. Friends and neighbors can all jump in and help. It's actually a fun social time, and everybody enjoys the accomplishment of working together. Seems in my experience one needs to find people over 60 in order to kick in, but there's always those exceptions. Everyone knows their role very quickly, and it's just a great time to see everybody feeling the spirit of accomplishment, which is really the best therapy, the best fun, the best way to rehabilitate and give people opportunity. It's all about empowerment here. This all may look well and good, and it is, but the real amazing thing is the price. So the next video I will break down the costs and leave you just to see a few more pictures here so you can appreciate what you have right at your disposal if you wish to join this concrete craze here. An octagon shell would be the simplest thing to build, and I'm looking forward to doing it for the first time. Having an attached south wall greenhouse could be multifunctional, providing protected area for food growth and trapping heat inside to blow into the thermal mass inside. My experience started with rammed earth, and you might be able to tell in a way this system lets rammed earth live, but you just don't need to pack the dirt down anymore. You can put it loose into the wall cavity, and you see a little concrete column at the edge of that wall. Same principle here, And it's the same principle with straw bale houses. You leave a space between the hay bales and you fill that with concrete, and so you get your rigidity, and your concrete bond beam on top is your structural support, and the hay or straw is just a filler. And so we get a beautiful concrete tile that's the exterior, and you just can fill the inside with whatever you wish. So thanks for checking this out.